Hello everyone, my name is Wubsy, and I'm here today with 5 tips at how to improve as a solo survivor in Hide or Die. Before we get into this, I have 2 things to note. 1, items will have nothing to do with this list. I don't want you getting used to the mindset that you need items to live in this game because it's just not true. 2, there's not going to be any special hiding spots or anything like that. That's probably going to be another video if anyone really wants to see that. This list is here to give you some things to think about as a survivor and to help you get that gold rating as much as possible. Now with all that being said, let's get into the list. Tip number 1 I have for you is to use the phone. I understand that there's some times that you want to take advantage of the time you're given, like getting gas and getting an extractor, running from the killer, yeah. But in the case that you're hiding because the killer is close by, use your phone and tell your teammates that the killer is nearby. You know, simple stuff like that. This is such a helpful tool, and nobody's using it, and I don't quite understand why. It's like when I use it, things go much smoother than they would be if I didn't. So here's a clip from a flawless game. This is from the very beginning. I'm putting fuel in the entrance extractor, and then I hear a heartbeat coming my way. So I use the phone, and I tell everyone the killer's at entrance. While I'm doing that, the killer throws down his dome, I run off, and then I actually go into a hideable, and then I tell him that he's still here. Like I wait a bit, I tell him he's still here. Oh, fuck. Throughout the entire game, I'm using this phone, you know, I'm not like wasting a lot of time, but I'm still like taking that time that I would be wasting and using it to communicate with the team and tell them what's happening. I get a few saves, I open a hatch at the end, everything works out, and I get 9,000 points and gold. Use your phone. It makes things not only easier for your team as a whole, but it can also make some pretty good times and maybe even get you a friend or two, you know? All sorts of good shit can happen. Tip number 2 is to know how and when to use hideables. There's right times to use hideables, and there's wrong times to use hideables. The right time is when the killer is coming your direction, which your buddies can let you know using tip number 1. The wrong time to use them is when you're in the extractor circle. So when you're in a hideable, and you're within the extractor circle, you don't get the darkness bonus that goes into the bar. So if the killer's not around you, if the killer's not coming your way, just kind of sit outside of it and vibe for a bit, get yourself some boosted points and get out of there. Now with all of that being said, hideables are kind of ignored just because people feel kind of stuck or trapped in them, and there's a few ways to help that out. The first way is to be aware that you can use your phone and talk with people while you're in the hideable. It's very helpful. It's a very good thing to know. Another thing to know is that you can actually just kind of peek out of the hideable. If you hold control and peek with A or D, you can kind of swerve around, peek around, see if anything's nearby. A third thing to note is that you are entirely indetectable while you're in hideables. Whether the killer's phasing or if you can see every survivor for however long, you are totally fine when you are in a hideable. So remember that. So that's tip number 2. Use hideables, please. They help. Tip number 3 is to move when the killer is phasing. So for those of you who don't know already, when a killer is joining FaZe Clan, he can't see any survivors, period. He can only really see a circle of where they are approximately. So when a killer goes into that phasing, it's a perfect time to relocate and get to a better spot for yourself. You'll always know when the killer is phasing when you hear this. Alright, so when you hear that noise, that is a swell time for you to get your precious behind out of dodge. Some killers try to phase when they're in mid-chase, which, if they do that, just fucking punish that. Run headfirst into their smelly asses, they aren't gonna know. It's crucial to know when they're phasing and what to do about it. So, there you go. On to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is awareness, awareness, awareness. If you truly want to be a good survivor and not let your team down, you should be constantly aware of 2 things. You should be aware of where the killer is when you can be, and you should always be aware of where you are. If you don't already know where you're at, the first thing to do is look at your nearest extractor. If you're close enough to the extractor, you'll see it has a name on it. For example, Underpass has Swamp Shacks, Riverside Factory, and The Shallows. Keep in mind when you're close to one of those 3, and keep an eye on your surroundings. Make sure you have a viable exit strategy and all that good shit. Let's say the killer is coming from that middle wooden house in Underpass and you're at Swamp Shacks. You can loop around the big group of wooden houses and pray he doesn't know how to cut you off, or you can just kind of go to Riverside Factory and hope you can lose him from there. You know, and a bunch of other shit you can do. The maps are huge and you can basically go wherever the sun fucking shines. So you do you, honestly. And with how dynamic the maps are and how vertical things can be, everywhere is your playground. So go ahead, have fun, try some new stuff, and try and get better, you know? And for the 5th and final tip, do not abuse exploits. I know you think you're a great player because there's a hidey hole that the killer can hardly get to that you weren't meant to get to. And you're also superior because you're taking advantage of the adrenaline needles while it lasts. I mean, it's cute and all, and I guess it can be fun, but I'm sorry to say that those are going to get adjusted. You are not going to be able to permanently evade the killer by using adrenaline and having a full 12-second sprint. That is fucked, and hopefully, it'll be changed. As a person who plays Survivor a lot, even I hate the adrenaline needle. I hate that shit. It feels so dirty. Developers have been having constant updating, and I know for a fact they are going to fix the bullshit. They were even fixing little things like hit detection and getting rid of some silly clip places like the Wonderworld slime. I'm telling you right now, eventually your hidey hole is gonna get fixed, and eventually your adrenaline needles are going to be at least changed, if not gone. Obviously, it's okay to use these things here and there, but I'm just saying don't become reliant on them. That's all I'm trying to say. And there you have it. Those are my 5 tips. Were any of them helpful to you? Did you enjoy the video? If you did, smack a like, drop a subscribe, maybe even hit that bell for your boy. That'd be epic. If you'd like to join the community, there's a Discord in the description below. We're always active. We're always chatting it up. Make sure to join. Follow me on Twitch. I'll be streaming a lot. And I will talk to you all in the next one. Take care, baby.